I sometimes wonder why I do this to myself. Yoo-hoo, and thanks for tuning in to another awful movie review.
After a shave and an outdoor shower, I begin to feel like myself.
It's time to devour another thick piece of juicy, science fiction low-budget cheese. Monster from Green Hell. It's got all the low-budget sludge a movie masochist could hope for. Garbage can acting, dumb effects, and 5 minutes of Bronson Canyon, which is probably the best thing about the film.
It didn't take long before we learned we were wrong on all counts.
If only that were the case. But just before we get going, if there's a bad movie you'd like me to review, leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let me know your thoughts and feelings on Monster from Green Hell.
You're in no position to dictate.
Actor Jim Davis plays scientist Dr. Quint Brady. He and his team send a group of wasps in a rocket as a crash test before they send up a crewed ship, but the rocket never comes back down.
Oh no! Anyway,
This must be such a big loss for the scientific community, no?
I'll tell you one thing. If that rocket comes down in a populated area, it won't be good.
Thank you, Dr. Brady. What would we do without you? Well, the team seems to forget all about the missing rockets they sent up into space, but 6 months later, there are sightings of giant monsters in Central Africa,
Oh, Robbie, that's superstition.
which makes our bright Dr. Brady jump to the conclusions that their rockets maybe have landed in that part of the world, carrying back the mutated wasps which have grown out of proportions. Well, by golly, he's actually right.
You've seen pictures of the survivors at Hiroshima, haven't you?
Oh, sure.
Radiation did that, Dan.
Wait, did people become giant mutated wasp monsters back then? I was really surprised to find out the makers had $1 million to work with, which is rather large for a B-movie back then,
There are problems.
Such as?
because this looks like puke. Oh man, this is so bad. Where did all the money go? It couldn't have been spent on the actors because I've never heard of any of them. It couldn't have been the travel costs either, and as for the special effects, I highly doubt it vacuumed that much money.
Nobody was anxious to believe in my theory.
In fact, since this is a trash B movie, the wasps don't show up that much, so we're left to fend off against terrible wooden dialogue and a story about as frightening as a trip to Disneyland.
I hope it's a good one. So do I.
Anyway, Dr. Brady and his crew think it may be a good idea after all to seek those rockets out, so they travel to a B-movie soundstage to discover what happened to their experiment and find those disgusting monsters which have been terrorizing the fauna and the locals.
Nothing wrong with that.
What I found eye-raising is that the mutated wasps seem to actually be the least of the team's problems.
I'm beginning to wonder what good they are.
Upon arrival in Africa, they must confront droughts, hostile natives, rudimentary living conditions, cheeky monkeys throwing coconuts at them,
I'm sure all of you are well aware of the many problems that lie ahead of us.
and being stuck inside a volcano after our brilliant Dr. Brady caves everybody in with a grenade.
nice.
In fact, if they never went to Africa in the first place, this whole movie probably would have never existed. So it begs the question, what was the point of their presence?
They'll go and they'll die.
Guns and grenades don't work on the wasps.
Personally, I would prefer a General Sherman tank.
They had to call upon Mother Nature to do the job for them, as the wasps were swept away by an active stock footage volcano. Legend has it that there was an uncut version of the film, where the lava is shown red, but most television stations kept it in black and white. In fact, a good portion of Monster from Green Hell is stock footage, and I'm not talking random film that anyone can use. They really went hippity-hoppity, this is my property.
Well, thank you, Dr. Brady. I bet you read that in a book.
There are 2 movies in one, since the makers borrowed lots of scenes from a 1939 adventure film, Stanley and Livingstone. So a good 40% of Monster from Green Hell is actually another movie. Nice. Like I said earlier, the team somehow teleported themselves back to the front of Bronson Canyon. How did they do that? Where they find the giant wasps moving their little arms around. It's ridiculous.
So I did the one thing everybody else does when they face the unknown.
Of course, that's not my case, but any normal human being with a minimum of common sense would shut this cinematic turd right off before the end.
Nature has a way of correcting its own mistakes.
This is one of the worst science fiction horror movies from the golden age of sci-fi. I'm sorry to say it's 70 minutes that are just not worth your time. What an awful movie.